I wasn't too worried about leaving her alone in my room, since I knew she would be out for a while. If it was a full headbutt, if she really pissed me off, she wouldn't be conscious till at least the next morning. Besides, it wasn't like I kept any weapons in my room. I mean, Nadia's hell. I was the weapon. Chances if she even did wake up, I doubt she could nullify my spell that I placed on the doors and escape. But if she was what that mark meant, a silver fox. As I made my way over to the library, I kept flexing my hands as some sort of distraction. No matter what I did, physically or mentally, the damn flower was stuck in my head as if branded. When the library doors came into sight, I breathed fucking hells of Nadia out in a growl and quickened the pace. At least this place could calm my nerves or answer the questions that were demanding to be answered right this moment. What exactly was a silver fox? What was so special about them? And what exactly happened to them, if they're not around today? I couldn't bring this matter up to father. Not yet, at least. I pinched and shifted my nose a little, thankfully healing with a small spell. That bitch had a good right hook on her, for such a small frame. Lazily shouldering the left door open, revealing a 2-story library. When I mentioned to the others that I have a library in my wing, they usually gave me a dumbstruck look, which followed up with a high-pitched "really?" I guess people took me for the kind that loathe reading. Unlike every other prince I've met, I'd rather be hiding away here than socializing. Hells, people were shocked that I could even read in 3 different languages. I'm sure they would faint if they knew I could write a proper message in those as well. When, or rather, if, I did show them the library, their jaws would hit the floor in seconds. But the only ones that were allowed every day throughout my wing are the housemaids Iris and Bernice. I only had 2, and I was perfectly fine with that. Last I knew, Bernice had been out for the last few days, and then there was Iris, who was pregnant with a bastard child. Hence why she was sent to my wing, to shame her. I had become picky with my housemaids and who could wander in and out of my wing since I caught one trying to steal some of my grimoires. Since then, anytime father attempted to shrug one off on me, I would look into the bloodline and history. Iris was proof my father never really looked into those things. Thanks to her grandmother on her father's side, Iris carried the Fenmont bloodline, an ancient Fey name that had long become extinct. And to think, a Balon house servant intentionally rebirthing an ancient bloodline, that would stir some shit up. When I got told I was getting her, I pictured a snarky girl who wouldn't shut up. But she was the complete opposite. Iris was nice company. She favored cleaning the library over Bernice. From time to time, I would catch her reading them. The majority of the first floor were basic grimoires and well-known stories and history of Pathonia. The second floor was where I kept more of the illicit grimoires that contained curses and necromancy, or dead men's journals I've collected over the years. But Iris nor Bernice needed to know about those. I typically ordered them to just clean the first floor. The dust on the second floor books was enough to tell me if someone besides me was up there, rummaging around. As I entered, Iris was already here and cleaning. Off to the right, there was an entire shelf that was already cleared and books stacked up on a nearby table. By the matching golden spines, I recognized the stack as Ralph Hindleston's blacklisted grimoires that father had gifted to me for my 20th birthday. I was halfway through the set when I didn't feel the interest to finish it. Whenever Iris would ask what this or that spell did, I pretended to reread and give the gist of it. Deep down though, sometimes it was hard to compose my excitement to try it out later. Keeping her back to me, she calmly peeked over her shoulder, where I caught a glimpse of her warm emerald eye. Her hair was long, dark as night, and laid on her right shoulder in stretched coils. I had to admit, she was attractive for a housemaid. Turning back to her duty, she spoke politely but loudly.
Evening, Kess.
It surely is one. I headed straight for the spiral staircase. Surely, If I had anything on silver foxes, it would be up here. As I jogged up the staircase, I caught Iris watching me as she went for another book. Before she could ask anything, I spoke fast. How's your day going so far?
Delightful.
I paused at the top by gripping the wooden railing, studying her. She didn't look up, but dusting off the books in her hand. She never says delightful. Weird. Starting on the left side, the spines of each book had a good layer of dust on them. Some of them even chained shut, though, to the wall. How's Bernice?
She's better. Still a bit sore.
Will she be in tomorrow? I pulled the book with a black ribbed spine out and walked over to the railing to lean on it. It wasn't that I didn't care. It was that I was composing the sliver of guilt splicing my sternum right now.
You're set on something today.
Simply in the mood for some light reading. Iris carefully wiped the book, then placed it back on the round table with the other clean books.
All the girls are talking in the quarters. Prince Kester finally chose a bride. They were questioning Bernice and I this morning, some of them even saying Udos has blessed the kingdom since you've chosen a wife.
Udos blesses those who are rat poor, or the brain rot has reached your village and skips over your door. Skimming through the pages, I didn't see a single mention of Silver Fox, which made me curse under my breath. I clapped the book shut, then stood up, storming over to the bookshelf. Wandering towards the middle now, I pulled the book out by its grey spine that read, Ancient Moses Rituals in silver lettering. Wiping the dust off, I slowly returned to the railing. I know I had read something on silver foxes in here. Where the fuck was it?
You make it sound like you had a knife to your throat.
I wish I did. Why are the girls talking about me? Because I'm off the list of handsome suitors. I returned to the railing with a yellow and black spine book, cocking a stern brow and her small amused smile on the book that she was currently cleaning. She knew my true feelings about big fancy events and name day festivals, and how women bit their smiles any time I entered the room whilst dressed up formally and hair slicked back with pomade. I hated the feeling of it in my hair, but if anyone got away with mocking me for my rejection of love interests, it was Iris and Bernice.
Believe it or not, the girls get jealous that Bernice and I work over here in the rebellious prince's wing and never return injured.
Truth be told, Iris was a nice girl, just a shitty hand she was dealt. Her first few months working here, she was quiet as a mouse and wouldn't stop looking at the floor or my feet. Either she believed in the stories that were told around the castle about me, or she didn't want me to look upon her sinned face. When Sir Hector delivered her to my wing, he told me she had snuck into the guards' chambers during the Filtmont ball and forced herself upon one of the sleeping men. But the look in Iris's dull eyes and deeply slashed cheek, I could tell that was a fucking lie rolling out of his mouth. The scar on her jaw was just starting to heal up nicely. Thanks to the ointment I gave her, it's beginning to go silver and fade against her complexion. She didn't tell me the truth until a month had passed. Hector had got pissed drunk at the ball, cornered her, and taken her for himself. Something in me wanted to instantly snap Hector's neck the next time I saw him, but Iris pleaded. She said she wasn't willing to have a royal knight put on execution, which fueled my hatred for the bastard. He was my father's best knight, and the fucker gets to do anything he wants. The unmerited bastard was born with the gift of gold bending, which was rare throughout any kingdom. He could morph his golden sword into anything he set his mind to, which got him an automatic spot in the royal king's guard and on my father's favorite side. We did get along fairly before the Iris incident, but when I saw him slap a house servant when she accidentally spilled wine on his armor during a ball, my sentences fell short with him. There was always something fucked up happening around here. At least she still had her sunny personality. Remind me, when is the child due?
You mean bastard?
I'm not a cunt-faced knight. A moment of silence passed between us before her eyes softened and dropped her gaze back to the book in her hand, gently setting the book on a stack, then went for the next one.
5 months or so. I've been distracted lately.
From what?
It's Nothing to trouble yourself about.
It's not troubling if I'm curious about it. She tweaked a smile and shook her head, which made me pinch my fingers in the book and started for the stairs. Sure, I was working on borrowed time before Lady Boney-ass Knuckles woke up. But Iris, I did care about. Did you run into him?
It's not like that.
The way her fingers anxiously curled into the book gave her away. My chest felt hotter, knowing she was avoiding answering now. Iris paused all motion. Else, even her breathing ceased. She blinked a few times till I noticed she was trying not to cry. What happened now?
If I may, Kess, can I retire to my room? I don't feel so good all of a sudden.
Just the way she was seizing the book, she didn't want me to dive any deeper into her recent problem, which meant he must have told her something. Something that surely would piss me off. I eyed her stomach once more, then glowered at my finger in the book, eyeing my white knuckles. If he ever hurts a hair on you or that child, you better tell me.
Yes, my prince.
Kais. Bowing her head, Iris grabbed the skirting of her dress and curtsied.
I will. Kais.
I've seen you love upon your body, yearning for this child to be born. It's not a bastard.
But by
Fuck the laws of any kingdom. I tossed the book on the table, watching her flinch as I sauntered over. You've been around me long enough to know that I don't care. When close enough, I grabbed her by the jaw, but kept my thumb off her scar and made her lock eyes with me. There was a glint of fear in her eyes, but moreover, shame sparkled in them. One bad experience really fucked this woman's mind. You will be a great mother to that kid, and fuck what that bastard thinks. What everyone else thinks. All that child needs is you. Do not let your mind become twisted thanks to the acid of others. Understood? In response, Iris's lip quivered. On the brink of tears, I exhaled deeply and wiped out tears with my free thumb. If Hector wasn't a royal knight, he would have been food for the bombs a long time ago. Go to the kitchen and get yourself some coffee crumble cake before you head back.
But that's for royals only.
And I want that child to be fed like a royal. If anybody asks, I told them you could have my share and to come talk to me if that's a problem. But between you and me, it's rather a big fuck you to Hector. So eat it, and go cry for the rest of the day if that's your intention. Iris sniffled within seconds, fell into my shirt face first, hugging me. I instantly froze with a grunt stuck in my throat, gawking at the stack of books. She was a hugger, something I was still getting used to. Sure, I was used to women ogling me, but none never attempted to touch me in this manner. It felt weird. It only took a moment for her to realize what she was doing since Iris hiccuped a breath and went back up.
Oh! My
I
apologies.
hugged her back. It's fine. You need comfort. I can deal with it for the moment. I huffed and patted her back, feeling her shudder closer and sniffle against me. Patting her head, I look over to the stack of books on the cart. I expect to see you tomorrow to finish this up and for meditation hour.
Of course.
Good. I'll see you tomorrow. Iris sniffled once more before she nodded and then went for her cloak that was on the chair.
I know you'll be a great father to your bride when she gives you children.
The thought of that woman made me smirk over the library. I'd rather be stuck here for the rest of my life than be beside her.
You say that now.
Get out before I change my mind about the cake.
Have a good night, Kiss.
If I could disappear again. After spending a couple hours sifting through every bookshelf to find nothing, which made no damn sense, since I had a book on everything. I was at the point that I was ready to throw my favorite decanter at the wall. Giving up for the meantime, I decided to storm over to the kitchen to go snack on something. Since I haven't heard much gossip about the war room from any nearby guards, only that I had left early, I took it that it was still in session. Sucks to be Kelso and Body. Thank the gods I got kicked out, or I would be making bathroom requests non-stop at this point. Before I reached the main kitchen, the aromas of garlic and grilled meat filled the hallway, which made my palate salivate. There was never a time a bad smell lingered from that room. Wandering in, there were 3 cooks working hard in the gourmet kitchen. When one of the house servants, Ainsley, saw me, she immediately set down a scrunched-up napkin on the counter and bowed half her body to the point her light brown braid flung off her shoulders.
Prince Kester.
I lazily raised a hand and strolled in, passing her up. Don't mind me, I'm just here for a snack. As I headed for the pantry, I felt her eyes were still on my back. I didn't mind Ainsley since she was one of my father's personal servants, but I had my suspicions that she was a spy. It was just a matter of finding out if it was her own meddling or my father's curiosity of what I did in my own downtime. It was a while back when she began wedging herself into my business by offering to help clean up my wing if Iris or Bernice were out for the day. The annoyance of her wedging lasted a month before she had caught me at a bad moment. I gave her a subtle warning that if I ever saw her in my wing, she wouldn't see daylight again. She had been quiet as a mouse ever since. The closest chef, Headley, who was skinning a fish, perked up fast. The only way I could differ the twins from each other was that Headley wore circular glasses, and Hale had a Krat naval sigil tattooed on his right forearm. Headley did have the same tattoo, but after a hot water accident, it was now blurry and distorted. Born and raised in Krat, they worked in the shipyards till they were 14 years old. Their father passed away after a siren had dragged them into the depths. Fearing for their lives, their mother made them leave Krat and move to Polaris, while she opened up a bakery shop. Sandor, the head cook, found their shop when getting supplies one day at the age of 17. The twins became the youngest cooks in Crindlin's history. It was the years of late-night snacks and freely wandering in here that made us close now.
How did you finally kicked out alive?
Besides him, Hale, his twin brother, was chopping up garlic when he automatically grunted and grimaced over at him.
It isn't our business, dunce.
Oh, come on!
Headley lazily pointed a knife in my direction, but looked to his brother. Behind me, I heard Ainsley squeak. Pointing a weapon at the royal would surely be seen as a threat, but I knew it wasn't. Plus, I enjoyed the twins. They were entertaining.
Kester, picking up a girl to marry. Everybody is talking about it.
Everyone talks when I do anything. Headley gave Hale a snarky smile and walked away with his bowl of garlic. I couldn't help but shake my head at the brotherly rivalry. As I continued over to the pantry, Sandor was in the back of the room, standing in front of a large steaming pot. What are we having for dinner tonight?
A wide variety. Are you going to be joining them, or should it be sent to your wing?
Considering Body and Kelso were here, I guess I should behave myself. But I did have an angry woman in my room. I wiped my hand over my mouth and stopped in the doorway. Send something to my wing for her, but I'll be at the dinner party.
You won't be dining with your wife?
We got in our first argument already. I should go check on her. It has been a couple hours now. She'll be fine.
Ainsley.
Something clattered. I came back out with a green apple to see Ainsley picking up silverware off the ground, then bound to Sir Hector. Charcoal hair and bright golden eyes. Hector scrunched his nose in disgust as he gripped the pommel of his sword.
The court is questioning where their hors d'oeuvres are at.
I'm sorry.
We're moving as fast as we can here. We're making dinner and dessert at the same bloody time.
Well, cook faster.
You want your chicken grilled or scorched?
Headley, stop talking. I took a bite and watched Headley squeeze his jaw, glaring down at the skinned fish on the cutting board. When he was ready to say something, Hell came over and touched his shoulder. Headley stabbed the knife into the edge, shrugged his brother's hands off, stormed past Sander and into the back room. I exhaled long and shifted my annoyance toward Hector, who had narrowed his eyes a little on me. Now, what did he say to Iris that made her retract back into her colorful shell?
Rufus told me he can hear something banging around from your wing. Did you bring in another Icerian bear?
That was an experiment. Seems like no one will ever forget that moment. Wasn't to my knowledge that ice bears were immune to my bending, and I had to fight the fucker head on. I took another bite when the image of her bruised neck popped in my hand. Squeezing my apple, I swallowed and smiled at him. I wouldn't hurt her, but I could hurt someone else. Where's Bertel at? Hector's brows twitched, surely with confusion. There was a bright side to the place. No one could ever read my moves. Fighting or mental games. Not even Father kept up to par. So lucky I got the cast out of the war room, or I would still be forced to use my chess game mind. Besides him, Ainsley frowned at the counter while Hale was getting the platter of hors d'oeuvres ready. Surely she was listening in for my father's benefits, or hers. Hector straightened his posture as he shifted his feet, now resting on his left foot.
Down in the dungeon with the new servants. Why?
I gently shook my head, inspecting the crisp green apple. I just want to talk.
Where the shadows go, leaves fall like whispers as she casts her spell in her cottage of wonder where the spirits dwell.